On a cold winter's day, there's one thing I love to do to stay warm. Walk in the forest and immerse myself in an ancient wonder. Every step brings something new. Let's see what today holds. Good morning. We are at the Washpool National Park in northern New South Wales today. Got my pack on, got my walking stick. You know what that means. Let's go for a walk. So today I'm looping together two walks. The Coombadjha Creek Walk, which will then loop onto the bigger Washpool Walk. All up, we're going to be walking about 10.5 kilometres today, and I'm really looking forward to it. Anyhow, there's a problem, Houston. I've already taken the wrong turn. It's good to be back in the rainforest again. You'd think after all these walks I'd stop being surprised, but the forest always has other plans. Now, I've been meaning to do this walk for a little while and put it up on the channel. It's actually one of my favourite walks in the area. I haven't done it for a few years since I've been doing this filming, but definitely it's overdue. Now, it's nice to do this on a cool morning, and this morning when I first got here it was 4 degrees. Won't be much hotter than that yet. Place is quiet so far. I started my walk around 8 a.m. A lot of folks get here after 9-10 o'clock, so I should be well on my way before they turn out for the day. So we're now on the main circuit. Down there is Coombadjha Creek. We'll pick up on this at multiple points along the walk. This really is the beauty of the spot, and certainly well deserving of its World Heritage classification. Getting a little sun shower here. Meant to be clearing showers this morning. There's meant to be high winds today, up to 35 kilometres an hour. It's quite still at the moment. Fair bit of uphill work to do this morning. Just have to see how we get on. Fitness still isn't great, but it is improving. However, this is the very first time that I've walked this track carrying the big backpack, and that does add a bit of weight. So look at this one. There's my hand for comparison. and I don't have small hands. There are so many things in this forest. I've got to be very careful not to stop too many times, or I'll never get this done. Onwards and upwards. Even though it's a bit cool and rainy, walking up these hills does work me up into a sweat. I'm of two minds. Should I take this jumper off, or do I just leave it on? Because I know I'll get cool when we stop, and particularly if I come out to somewhere where there's a bit of breeze and a bit of rain. Now the wind's kicking on up here a little bit. I'm not feeling it blowing on me yet, but I can see it in the treetops, and we're up out of the valley a bit. So could be a smart choice to have kept the jumper on. I think that wind's going to have a bite to it today. Now I'm doing this walk anti-clockwise. And I do it that way because it gives me most of the uphill in the beginning of the walk. That way I enjoy the back half of the walk a lot better. Would you have a look at that? There's some early wild raspberries coming on. Some real early ones. Oh, it's got me, it's got me. Some that are just in flower, some other fruits that are coming up. It's amazing this time of year, there's always something going on. Some more of these beautiful little funguses. A whole array up on that tree as well. Some of them are past their best by date, but still beautiful to me. Down here some more, these beautiful deep brown ones. Awesome little patterns on them that I find amazing. I just love looking at this stuff. Anyway, I've got to get a wriggle on. I'm stopping too much. Yeah, the jumper had to come off. It's too hot up this hill. Have a look at that fig tree there. What a glorious big old tree it is. Now I'm coming up now where there's a few red cedars still standing in this forest. There's actually the cedar cutters who opened up a lot of these northern forest areas. Because the cedar was so valuable, there was a lot of money to be made. Of course they logged everything else after the cedar was gone. And here is one of the red cedars. This massive old tree. There would once have been hundreds and hundreds of these up and down the coast from end to end. They were all logged out except a very, very scant amount. And they were logged out because beautiful red timber that was easy to work, soft, but very valuable. And a lot of it was shipped down to Sydney, and from there much of it even was shipped overseas. They were used by furniture makers, even some people built houses out of it, very expensive houses. This is a cedar tree, red gold. fortunes were made cutting this stuff out. And then following in the footsteps of these early timber cutters, that came the other timber cutters who dropped the hardwood, started the shipbuilding enterprises, and so on. Then followed agriculture, then followed mining, then followed ultimately everything that we have today. But you can thank the people who came here to get these trees, because they were the first ones to open it up. These little trees come down. You can see a variety of orchids. Some are still growing and alive, like these dagger orchids. This will be a king orchid, a dendrobium. There's a few of these here that have perished. Onwards and upwards we go, eh? Righto, we're about halfway. So I'm going to stop and have a short break here. Really enjoying the walk so far. How about you? If you're enjoying it with me, how about giving the video a like? That really does boost me, it makes me feel great, and it helps the video get out to more people who might like it too. Cheers! Remember, leave no trace. Even that. There's a little stand of waratahs just here. And you can see it's just starting to get some new growth, some new shoots. In about another 2 months, if we come back and look at this, we'll see it bursting with big red flowers. And have a look at that big red ant nest. I love those things. Ain't the country gorgeous? And this is only going to get better and better over the next few months as the winter gives way to spring and all the gorgeous wildflowers are going to open up. The forest keeps changing as we go. On this walk, you get a bit of everything. The rainforest, the palm forest. Now we're in this dry forest, surrounded by acacias, black butts. That's what makes these places fascinating. You get to see so much. Too much just for one walk, too much just for one visit. Got to keep coming back again and again. And even as the seasons change, so too do the things that you see and that you encounter. How special these parks and places are. And how grateful am I that some people had the foresight to preserve these so that we can come here and walk. What a beauty. I wondered if I was going to get leeches today. No one's found my walking stick, but do I actually have any on me? I don't know, I haven't looked. Considering how keen this fella is to get me, I would almost guarantee I would have some on me. Anyway, it's just part of the fun of walking, isn't it? Now just have a look at this old tree. Have a look at this big bend in it. And how did that happen? Well, when this tree was really small, he must have had to grow around something. And he grew around it, and then later, that thing's long dead and gone. But 100 years later, this tree's standing. Might be a bit bent and crooked, but still a beauty of a tree, eh? The forest changes again. And we've got all these fern trees, or as they're actually called, tree ferns. So much to see. And now I'm not going up that hill all the time. It's so much better. So much easier. With these walking stick palms. All of these little things here will turn into bright red berries soon. And just like that, we're back down in the gully. Here comes some of that wind they talked about. I better be a bit careful. So I've been doing a bit of pack training lately. If you've watched some of my other videos, you might notice that. Now, I'm not going to go on about what I've already said before, but if you're keen to follow along with it, this week we're looking at around 10.5 k's, and in the backpack is about 13 kilos. So that follows on from 5 k's that I did 2 days ago. So we're adding a decent amount, but not overloading. And how do I feel so far? At about the 3/4 mark of this walk, really, So at about the 3/4 mark in this walk, how am I going? Well, the back feels okay and my legs feel alright. This has certainly been a more difficult walk than the one that I did last week, whereas the last week one was on pretty even paths for the most part, with only a few areas where it was a bit more difficult. This one we have to really pick our way carefully, as the trails aren't as well maintained and it's quite slippery here, particularly after a bit of run. Everything grows on these rocks here. Just a beautiful spot. There's plenty of sunshine, plenty of water, and clearly nobody bothers it. I love those birds. Hello, we are coming back down to the creek. And it's cooling things down nicely for me. I was getting a little bit hot over that last stretch. The last kilometre or so has been quite humid. We're in the midday heat now, probably a little bit past midday, and the temperature is probably around about 15-16 degrees. Now that might not seem very high to you, but combined with a fair bit of humidity and walking around with a backpack on, I'm feeling it. But anyway, we're back down here at the creek. and it already feels like 5 degrees cooler. So have a look at that. If that's not the most crystal clear water you've seen, I don't know what is. What a ripper of a spot, eh? We're nearly at the end of the walk. There's only 400 metres to go. And then I've just got to finish the last bit of the other walk, back to the car, and I'll have some lunch. So how did we go? All in all, I ended up walking a little bit over 11 kilometres. So I took a few side trails that weren't part of the original calculation, plus a bit of walking backwards and forwards while I'm doing the filming. But all up, 12 kilometres, a fair bit of incline and decline on that walk, and some fairly awkward paths. You need good footing, good dexterity. So I started at about 8 o'clock this morning, and it's now currently about 1 o'clock this afternoon. So including all my breaks and all the filming and everything else, around 5 hours for me to do that walk today. Definitely a bit slower than the last training walk, and this walk was definitely harder. But I'll tell you what, there's a few things that I'm really happy about. One, I got the walk done. Two, I actually feel like I've got my backpack adjusted properly now. I've been playing around with that for a while, and it's been flapping around like a bag of potatoes on my back, and it's been annoying me, and I've been getting a sore back. But I feel like the last half of today's walk, I finally got it where I want it, and I think that's a great thing. So very happy with that. And number three, I actually did this walk would be 4 or 5 years ago, and it was one of the first walks I did in this area when I started bushwalking again after a long lapse. And last time I did the walk, it took me 6 hours, and I was shattered. I'm not shattered today. I definitely can feel that I've done it. My feet are a bit sore, I'm a little bit tired, but I'm okay, and I'm rearing to go and to get back into the bush for some more. Anyway, I'm going to finish my coffee and go home, but that was today's walk in the Washpool National Park. I hope you've enjoyed it, and as always, I'm so grateful for your company, and I'm also just so grateful I get to come and walk in these places, and I'm glad I get to share it with you. So if you enjoyed it, give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.